Nuke, come. I don't know why she is whiny and going on today. She had a big run in the woods, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, yeah, and there's another book too they keep bringing up. And see, this is the book. Look at this book. And these are the cards, like, and it's weird because this was my first, well, my first deck actually was about, oh, I didn't save that picture. They said that would have been cool. You should have saved it. But my sister was there to witness it. So again, they said that's another proof. They did things so that people, that I would have proof that I'm not lying and that I'm telling the truth. But do you see the shape? Isn't that weird? Okay. So, yeah, it was just, you know, the whole thing has just been so, I don't think I wrote in this at all. Yeah, so, yeah, what's going on? Oh, no, I did write in that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that's what they're talking about. And I have other journals too. I have like a binder. Anyway, so they're talking about the old journals. And they keep giving those books. They keep showing me those books in my mind's eye. Okay. So we did that part of the family. Yeah. So that was my father that did that. That was amazing. Okay. Now I'm all off track because I keep going back to him. They said they wanted me to talk about Carol again. And you know, that's funny because this deck is a little birdie told you show. So look, power of the mind, spirit, you're blowing me away again. Oh, it's at risk. The power of your mind is at risk because it's being consumed by those electronic products and all the TVs and the fake news and all that. Okay, so they want me to talk about Carol, because I wrote down Christmas Carol again, and then I circled miracle, and then up here I went soul alignment / Carol, and I wrote C shape, and then I drew a line. Like this was today or yesterday I did this, and I'm trying to just connect it all together. Like honestly, you're on this journey with me. So I wrote down Christmas Carol, and it's like, this is very important. So I took this up and I put it here, but I didn't know why the DNA and the mother came out above Carol. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But then I found out today because they were talking about the Inside Out movie. So they want me to talk about that later. So for this right now, though, they want me to go up and talk about the C shape because, okay, they want me to talk about Carol the healer. Okay. So Carol the healer, that's why they keep bringing up December. Okay, so Carol the healer, she, okay, so when I took, in one of the videos, I expressed how when we went over there for a meditation thing, and she gave me that message. I didn't tell you the whole message. So they're telling me, I need to put something on my hands, hold on. She's telling me lavender is actually like can cleanse too, just FYI. When I was over there, the complete message that she gave me was that that I was a powerful psychic and that I was a channeler. But the rest of the message was that when I open my heart chakra fully, like when I open that completely, everything would fall into place for me. So of course, being a newbie like you are, maybe or not, I don't know who's going to get this message, but this was when I was a newbie. And I didn't really know, like I was still trying to figure stuff out. I just, you know what I mean? I'm still in all my pain. I'm still like trying to just move on with my life. Just trying, you know what I mean? Just trying to survive basically. Still wandering aimlessly. This is what they're talking about, that wandering path. You're just aimlessly, you know, you're on that wheel. You're just going, you're part of that, you know, hamster wheel thing. And you know, you become part of the cog machine, and they keep talking about cogs and machines. You're just like a cog in a machine, But you're not meant to be a cog, and you're not meant to be part of a machine. The only thing you were supposed to ever be was light and love and peace and harmony and compassion. Yeah, that's what they said. Okay, so Nuki, stop, please. Okay, so for all the people that have or have had toddlers and know what toddlers are all about and how they get into everything, and they're just constantly like go 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 go, and they're in this and you're trying like, no, get out of that, and they're in that and they're like, no no no, you can't play with that, no no, don't eat that off the ground, and like, you know, all that different stuff, and it's just nonstop. Well, that's what my dog is. And I will talk about her a little bit today, but there'll be more about her later, they said. Okay, so so they wanted to talk about the healer Carol. So when I was there, they talked about when my heart would be fully opened, that everything would fall into alignment. And of course, I didn't really know what that was. But then I was telling my sister about it, and she goes, oh, well, you know that she's a healer. And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't actually. And she's like, well, yeah, I went in there and I had, I think she said she had an alignment or something done. I can't remember. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I said, so, you know, I said like, oh, I should really do that, you know, like, you know, what, like at this point, I mean, the world's upside down anyway. So why not? So I did. And I made an appointment. I went over and I'm laying on her table. And that day I had spent my entire day, you know, walking barefoot in the dirt. I was like gardening. I was just, you know, like dropping seeds and, you know, just kind of just walking around. You know, I just had my hands in dirt all day that day. And so I was very connected to Gaia. And I don't really know what's going on in my life right now because my lampshade keeps changing. It had this like weird frost. It's got like it's a frosted glass anyway. But then when I took it out and they told me to wipe it all down, I did. And it had like these weird streaky things or something going on. And I didn't know what it was. So I took it out. My sisters couldn't even vouch for me. So I took it out and I ran it all under the water and I dried it all. But now it looks like little spots, and it drew my attention. They're like, what does it look like to you? And I said, it almost reminds me of more stars in the universe. And they said, exactly. And they said they wanted me to talk about these bubbles that I didn't talk about because there's like these 3 little dots, and then there's like little dots around it. And they said they wanted me to talk about that in a different video, and I didn't talk about it. So I don't know why they want me to bring that up now. But, oh yeah, there's dots on that too. Like there's little circles that go into the thing. What is up with the circles? Because everything goes around, they said, it just goes around and around in the whole world and everything. Okay, so, oh, you got me off track again. Okay, so yeah, I was over on the table and, okay, so I'm on the table and she's doing her thing and she's, you know, doing her thing and she's doing her thing. And, I'm just trying to relax. I really don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to, you know, I'm trying to be in my little Zen area in my head. I'm trying to keep my mind open and trying to relax on the table. But although my back is paining and my leg is hurting, and I have to say that this woman's hands were like little heaters. And you can like feel the heat from her hands. Her hands were so hot. And she was a very amazing, beautiful person. And, you know, I've never met a Carol that I've never fallen in love with her. Carols, I don't know what is about you, but, oh, beautiful. Anyone that has the name Carol in their names, I've never met one that is not the sweetest person. Anyway, so she was doing her thing. I don't know what that was. And then she got to my head and she said to me, they said, this is very significant and they want people to really understand this. She said, when she got to my head, she said, I'm apprehensive about telling my personal story, but they're telling me it's okay, that people need to hear this. So, and to be brave. Anyway, so I'm going to be brave. It's been a word that's come up through my whole journey, really. And courage and bravery is needed. I need a drink. They want me to talk about this as well. This piece of paper. Anyway, okay, so what was it again? Okay, yes, I'm on the table and she's at my head and she's like, you're crooked. You're like a C shape in your body. She was talking about, she said she could see my soul, and that I'm laying on the table. So I'm laying on the table. I'm going to draw like a stick person. They just told me to draw it. And I'm like, well, I can't draw people. So they said, yes, you can. You're an artist. So, okay. So here's the arms, my body, my legs, and head. Okay. So I'm just going to like, whoop, do it this way. This is what there's gingerbread. You're so funny making all these references to Christmas. Okay, so she's standing here at the top of my head and I'm on the table. I'm not laying like this. My legs are straight, okay? Don't get weird. And my arms are like, down on my sides, or on my hands are like, I'm down here or whatever. And she said that so these lines, so for these lines, so just pretend that these lines is the soul. Okay, they're saying that, just make it a little more like ooish, like this. So this is my soul, but she was saying that my soul was in my human vessel and it was like C-shaped like this. And so she said, I'm going to align it. And I'm like, okay. And she did. And I'm going to tell you something that I came home and I told my niece about it. And she's like, oh, that's interesting. And I was telling my sister about it. She was like, oh, that's interesting. And then, but I didn't know how to really explain it. But I finally figured out over the summer, and I went to my niece and I said, remember when I was telling you about that alignment I had and yada, yada? And she's like, yeah. And I said, oh, okay. So do you remember the movie Chronicles of Riddick? She goes, yeah. And I said, do you know when he's like, like through that like he's fighting with an undead guy and he's like the leader and they're like fighting and he punches him in the face and like his soul kind of comes out of his body, and then he's trying to pull Vin Diesel's soul out of him. And she goes, yeah. And I said, okay, so that is what that's what happened to me. And I could physically feel it shift and straighten. It was the freakiest thing. That was my true beginning. They said, yes, that was my true beginning. Because when she was able, that was the miracle. That was the miracle that they were talking about, that they created. And I didn't want to talk about it because I felt it was so personal. But they said that, but because she asked me about that afterwards, she said, like, I didn't, she goes, do you have any questions? And I'm like, not really, because I was kind of like I had to process it, right? Just like I'm processing this. So, okay, I had to calm down. I'm really hyper. So, okay, let me get some tea. Okay, I'm really hyper. Oh yeah, that's good. Calm me down. So she asked me before I left the room, she said, yes, I will mention that. Okay, they want me to mention something, but I'll add that to the water. Hold on, they're interrupting me for something. They want me to add it to the water. Okay, so where was I? You got me messed up. Where's the Carol thing I was talking about? Oh, here we are. So so the C shape, what Carol does not know, and I did not tell her. She asked me. She goes, what about your soul being crooked? Did you feel that? And I said, oh, yes, I did. And that's why they said that created a miracle for me to experience, but it also created a miracle for her. And that's why they said she would never forget it. But I did not tell her. I didn't understand about the C. Why was my soul curved? Why would my soul be curved? That makes no sense. Like, why is that? And I just thought, oh, that's weird. Maybe that's why my life has been so unaligned. Like, I haven't had like I don't even want to talk about that. But my life has not been in an alignment. And I thought, oh, I wonder if that's why. Well, maybe things will be better now because, I'm now aligned, and it was awesome. And now my heart opened, and now I have a full alignment, and now I'm cleansed, and I'm all good to go. So now I can start a whole new journey. They keep making me look at this medallion to put on, and they keep reminding me, and I keep forgetting. And it's very important to them. And then this was something that was given to me by somebody that was, he's a very wonderful soul. Oh, and I just realized, like, the little blue ball. And I asked him what that ball was, and he said, it's for, and I said, what does that mean? And he didn't really want to answer me at first. And then I said, no, really, I want to know what that means. And I mean, this is like 40 years ago. And he was like, he's like, it's to bring good luck. But I don't know if that's truly what it means. But he did say that to me. But it's like the same color as that. Ooh, that's hot. Forgot it was on. Yeah, so it's the same color as that dish there. What is up with the blue? Oh, yeah, and look, I was out of control. I got it on my okay. So it's all about the blue again. It's about the water. Okay, so, all right, Spirit, what is it that you want now? Okay. Oh, they want me to finish talking about the sea. So, yeah, so this is where it comes into my disability. So I've had that spinal surgery that I brought up before. Well, get this. I realized it was a few days later, and I was telling my sister and my niece about it, actually. But that curve, even though, your spine is straight, right? My surgery, like down here, I have my surgery here in this area. It's in this section of my spine, the lower. So it's basically my sacral. If you want to look at your chakras, because your chakras, the base, your base chakra is here. And don't get dirty, gross. And then they go all the way up. Then the sacral and solar, and then the heart is here. And then you have your throat, and then you have your third eye, and then you have your crown. And this is where they were talking about bringing in that light when they were explaining with the light on the wall. Anyway, so this is where I've had my surgery. But my surgery, my scar, like they didn't cut a straight line. They cut it on a weird curve. Like literally it's C-shaped. And that's why they had me go put down, because when they brought up to me, they brought up Christmas Carol and then Miracle, and then they had me draw a line about, and because I wrote down the C shape when I was talking about the alignment. Yeah, Spirit, that's cool. Yeah, and they keep bringing up the number 1 because they were saying they were bringing it up in the readings, but I wasn't catching it. So they keep bringing them up so that I would catch it. But they're referring to the number 1s. When they bring up number 1s, they're giving you the number 1 as so that you would understand it's the written word 1 though. O-N-E. And that is because we are all connected to the same fabric in the universe. So if you hurt, then it creates a ripple in the universe. And then if you're happy, it also creates a ripple in the universe. That's why they keep bringing up great happiness. Spirit is very happy about what's happening right now. They're saying, if you go into this and do all of this, they're saying that you are going to have, and you're going to be emotionally secure, which means you're going to be happy. Great happiness, they said. And loving family is so important to you. And you're going to have a great loving family because, oh my God, look, and dog. And it was close up. Pleasure with a close friend. And I'm going to tell you that, oh my God. Axe is behind it. I'm going to explain this to you and you're not going to probably like it, but it's my journey and we all have them. So for all the people in the back that are going to make comments later on. Okay. My father just said you can eat shit, but we're not going to talk like that, Dad, because he's a very no nonsense kind of man. He's somebody that's going to be like, he would just, a lot of times he didn't even have to, he was one of those people that could give you the look. Does anybody know what I mean with the look? The look is like he wore glasses and he was blind in one eye, but man, that man's seen way more than anybody has ever seen in their lives. Anyway, he would like have his glasses more on the tip of his nose, how like in your reading. And then when somebody looks like they're out of a book, and he did a lot of reading, by the way, and he would be like looking up and he would just be like looking over the top of his glasses. And you would see his eyes, and the look he would give you, you would know. Like you just knew. It's like he could imprint that into your head or your soul or something. It was the freakiest thing. That's why he's talking about it's not just the mother's DNA, it's the father's DNA too. Okay, Dad, yeah, I get that. Okay, that's weird. All right, so, oh, okay, and I'm even on this page. All right, so he wants me to write that down. I kind of don't have room here. Okay, I'm just going to write it here and squeeze it in. I'm going to just squeeze it on top of father. Or above mother, I mean. Okay. So, okay, Spirit, what else? They want me to talk about the dog since the dog card came out. Oh, great. Okay. So, he's bringing these cards out as I'm doing it. It's like, cool. Where was that? I did talk about it. I wrote it down here somewhere. I think that's more current. Did the Jesus thing. Okay, I didn't finish. They said I didn't finish the God thing. The message from Jesus. They said this message was for people that went to church and it was for Jesus. They want me to just clear this so I don't have to keep jumping back and forth, but and then we'll do the dog thing. But they're saying here that okay. All right. Okay, so this has nothing to do with it. Okay, so they're saying that this is for the church or godly people. They're saying, this is Jesus himself saying, trust in God, trust in Jesus. But see, they don't really call him God. They call him Most High or Source. So if you hear in my readings Most High, that is like the highest energy in the universe. But see, you gotta real, okay, they don't want me to talk about that. Okay. Because of God here, I was there because there's goddesses. There's more than one God. There's God and goddesses. There's lots of them. Anyway, they don't want me to talk about that right now. So, cause I'll end up on a tangent and they want to be able to express that in a more comprehensive way is what I just heard. Okay. So, they're talking about church or godly people. They said, so when I say God or Most High or Source, it all refers to God. But they said because of all the religions, it makes them cry because they use the religions to separate people. But they want you to know that whoever or whatever you pray to is part of God, part of Most High, part of Source, because it's all one. Here we go, one again. Okay, so they're saying to trust in God and to trust in Jesus because they're saying this is a message from Jesus. They said that this is a direct message through Jesus is the way, and you would understand that. Okay. So then they're saying trust in your loved ones that have passed over. And they really wanted me to and I forgot to underline loved. They're like the ones that you loved, those are the ones that mean whatever they mean to you, the most that people mean to you. And then they're saying they're all here now in this moment. And when you think of them, they are with you. And it was weird because when I came back and read this today, because I wrote this the other day, and then last night or the night before, I had written the word Carol on the bottom, and I didn't know why I even wrote it there. And then when I read that and I saw Carol, it was like, oh, Carol, did you bring that message? And I literally heard in my ear this morning before I started this, the word yes. And it's like, oh, Carol, you came through and delivered a message. And she's like, yes, I'm not the only one. And that's when I realized that my father was, because I kept saying father, which I wasn't trying to say father. And I even said, yeah, father. And I kind of paused because I'm like, what's going on? And that's how I realized that my father also brought in a message. And then today it was like 3 or 4 cracklings. So there's a lot more coming in today. Wow. Okay. So they said that they wanted to talk about the elephant because this again refers to the family. And because we're talking about one, and we're talking about God and Jesus and, you know, like family and everything right now, they said that the elephant, they keep bringing up the elephant on my journey because the elephant is to show you, like, repeat the elephant, because the elephant is about the journey. And that card here came out, kept coming out, it came out on journey, and how it's a long, it's a long journey, because they go on long journeys, elephants do. They travel great distances, is what I heard this morning, long distances. And then they said that they even travel to where they know their ancestors' bones are. And I'm like, oh yeah, they do. And then they said that when a loved one dies, they grieve that loved one. So what they do is they stay by that body for a while and they protect it. They all stay 2 or 3 days and they protect that elephant, even though they know that that elephant has died. But they touch it, they walk around it, they literally cry. Like, you can see tears coming out of their eyes. And I didn't want to talk about that because it's when I got that download on my way home, I almost cried. So I'm trying really hard, but they're talking about, so when they finally do, like, realize that they have to leave that loved one behind, they're talking about the grieving process when you have to leave that loved one behind. Sorry. They leave, but they don't go too far, and they just make their way back after all the stuff has been removed from its bones. And then they go and they will pick up those bones and they will feel the bones, and it's like they can feel them, they can feel their energy, they can feel. So that's what they're talking about when you think about your loved ones. Oh, sorry, it's really emotional right now, because we all know what that feels like when you have lost loved ones that mean very much to you. But they're telling me, you have to understand they're not lost. And this is why they want you to do this. That's because you can connect with them. And you can, like, get messages, like I am getting messages right now. Oh my God, they wanted to show more proof. Spirit. So that's why they wanted to talk about, like, because they go through all that grieving, and even, like, they're so smart, right? Elephants, and they have, and I even made a comment that I have, like, two, it's like I got, like, a brain of two elephants. I even made an elephant card. Yeah. Anyway, so they just wanted people to know that if you do all of this, you can get messages, because, like, I got this message from Carol, but and Carol was a big church person too. And though she never pushed it on anybody, but she knew a lot about church. She used to say, Carol, wait, this is my loved one, Carol. She used to say to me all the time, when she would think bad things, or she would get angry, she's like, I'm going to go to hell. She would always say, I'm going to go to hell. That's why she brought this message. Spirit. Amazing. Oh, Carol, thank you so much for the message. I hope this really does help people to, like, get off the fence, or even approach the fence and take a look. Take a look and look in someone else's pasture, I heard is what they said. Look in someone else's pasture and see if you like what you see. Because they're saying here that this is a new pasture for you. And I don't know what pasture means. But, they keep talking about the flock. And then, of course, they brought up the nest again and the eggs. And, those are like bird eggs, right? So the references to birds. Oh, and they wanted me to bring up about the birds. Okay, the birds is a part of the dog and the walk. Okay, so they want me to go to the dog now. And they were talking about how, my word, this is a lot. Okay, so I was losing my patience with my dog today, because she has not been minding me, and she's been, like, pulling on her lead a lot, and all the techniques normally that I use are not working, but because she is a husky and she has a lot of pull to her, and I have spinal issues, and it's mainly on my left side, and I have to walk her on my left side, because my right side, I have another little dog too, but she used to pull and yank and yank and yank, that she pulled out, like, she caused some kind of injury in my right shoulder. So I find it I can't, like, and then it used to run up into my neck and into my head, and it caused me a lot of distress. So I was able to like heal it on my own, which is like kind of miraculous in another sense too, because I just realized that. But yeah, so I don't want that to like re-injure, so I don't want to walk her on the right side, so I had to walk her on my left, so she has to mind me. And today she was just acting like a toddler, and I was even walking by people, and I even said to them, you know what it's like when you have a toddler? And they're like, yes, and they were older, so I knew that they kind of would know. And I said, and I pointed to the dog, and I said, that's that, because it's been like this all week, and it's driving me nuts. Okay. And the thing is, I didn't even want the dog to begin with. I kind of ended up with her because of, you know, like, I just ended up with her. Anyway. And she's been a real pain in my rear end for the past 2 years, literally, no joke. So, but see, this is where they said to me, like, this was my fault, because this was an example for them to teach, a teaching moment for me and for you, apparently, that, okay, so what was happening is on the way to my nature walk, the dog was really pulling a lot, and I was getting very angry with her. And then I just kind of recentered, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, she's, you know, she would do okay for a little bit, and then she would get really bad, and then she'd do okay. But because of all the readings and stuff, my back and my leg are really bad. And like I have pain like shooting out of my toes kind of thing, like that kind of bad. And like I'm limping now kind of bad. So she wouldn't mind me, and I was getting angry with her. And then they're like on the way back, they're like, did you notice? And I'm like, what? And they're like, did you notice about the birds? And I was kind of like, oh yeah, there was no birds. And I thought that was weird. The whole walk there, and even in the woods, there were no birds. And we were halfway back, and again, no birds. But at this point, I'm now getting very angry, and I always keep. So I found like if I keep her leash, like she's on a harness. So if I keep the leash, and the harness does up at her chest. So if I keep the leash, okay, they're saying to use the card. So like the harness, it hooks up down here on her chest. And if I have it there and I have it under her leg, it doesn't create like a pulling, because she feels that on her chest. And then because it goes up over her back, it kind of gives her a little tug on her back to realize, like, because it pulls her from underneath this way, it makes her realize like, oh, I'm pulling too hard, and she kept kicking the leash from underneath her leg and having it so it was on the outside of her leg, so she didn't have that sensation anymore, so it was just pulling on the side, but it was hurting me. And because she was like, oh, I got more slack, and so I was getting really angry about it, and I stopped. I'm literally not joking, I must have stopped at least 8 to 10 times in just this one little stretch of the road. And so I had to keep bending over. My back was killing me, and it was really hard on me, and it was bad enough picking up the dog poop. And yeah, so I kept putting it under her leg, and then we would walk 3 or 4 steps, and it would be out of her leg again, and then and then she wouldn't lift her leg, and I was getting so mad at her. And I mean, I had already fixed it probably 5 or 6 times at this point, and then she was just like, I'm not lifting my leg, and I was just like, lift your leg. And then she wouldn't. And I said, lift your leg. And she wouldn't. And I'm like, lift your leg. And she wouldn't. So I'm now like holding her leg. Like literally I'm holding her leg. And I'm like, okay, lift your leg. And lift your leg. And she's a big dog. And I'm like, lift your leg. Lift your leg. And I keep saying it. And she's like, no, no, no. And I'm like, lift your leg. So I could like, just lift your foot so I could like slide. I just need her to lift it just a little bit. Get her foot, like get the weight off so I could slide it under her leg. She refused. So I got angry. Because now I'm bending up, now it's like 2 or 3 minutes, I'm now bent over trying to get her, and every time I go to lift her leg, it hurts because I'm trying to use my strength to lift it, but I don't have the strength because of the way my spine is and how it affects my body. Oh my gosh, I was getting so upset with her. And I finally was just like, and I yelled at her, like, why are you being so hard to get along with? Like, why can't you just, I'm asking you just to do this, like lift your leg, you know what this means, lift your leg. Anyway, she eventually lifted her leg. And it's like, I know you're doing this on purpose. You're purposely doing this. And it was making me mad because I did feel like she was doing it on purpose. And they actually, I just heard them say, yes, she was. And but they were helping to manipulate the situation, but I lost my temper with her. So it says here, dog close up, pleasure with a close friend. But it was not a pleasurable walk at all. And even in the woods, I was terrified of her because she was running past me so fast. Like, she was literally like, so she was like skimming my pant leg like that, and I was terrified she was going to knock me down and I was going to end up smacking my head on a rock or something, because like, I mean, it is the woods, right? And there are boulders everywhere. But so like when you're walking, I mean, the path is fairly flat, but there's like areas where you have to kind of like walk around the rock a little bit, because it's, you know what I mean? But she was just flying through there, and she did it like 2 or 3 times, and it scared me because I was just like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, I thought for sure I was going to end up on my keister, and I didn't want to break a hip or an ankle or be in the woods and be injured. And I didn't have my phone. I don't carry it when I meditate, because the electronics are a distraction again. So anyway, yeah, so I did not have, and you know, because I never really wanted the dog, and for the past year or two, I keep like internally having this battle within me, this conflict within me, this internal conflict that, you know, maybe, you know, I shouldn't have the dog, and maybe she should, you know, maybe I can't give her all of what she needs, and, you know, she has a lot of needs, and maybe I just can't meet them all, and maybe I should just, you know, rehome her and just get out of this situation. And then the axe came out. So just forces working against you. Oh, okay, so they're saying that negative energy is using the dog, because it was weird, because she was not like this when I lived here. And I've been here, like, since I've been here, she's been very, very difficult dog. Very, very difficult. And she was never like that. She was the type of dog that, and maybe that's why I'm finding it so hard, but she was just like a really chilled out dog. Like, you could go anywhere with her, and she got along with other dogs, and she loved people, and she was very gentle and kind around children. You know, she walked really well. She was very independent. Like, she would go out and lay in the yard for hours on end, and, you know, like, she was just an easygoing, you know, kind of dog. And I loved her so much, and I spent so much time with her because I enjoyed her energy, and I enjoyed that connection we had. But since we've been here, it has been a battle of the wills, and I am not joking. And so they're trying to tell me that it was my fault. It's been my fault because I am not keeping my boundaries with her. And I'm like, what do you mean with the boundaries? Like, and they're saying because on the walk, because what I do to teach her to mind me when she's pulling, and she's like too excited because she knows she's going to get to go run in the woods. She gets too excited. So to calm her down, and she used to be a very patient dog too, and she isn't anymore. And oh, look, they bring up the word patience. Huh. Okay, so what I do is when I'm walking her and she's pulling me and she's not minding me, she won't listen to verbal commands, then what I do is I stop the walk and I stand on her leash until she submits to me. And how I know she submits is she sits down, and she doesn't just sit down, but she'll take a deep breath and she'll release it. And then that's when I know that she's going to follow my leash. You realize, like, I'm not in control of the walk. Sorry, my human is. Okay, so they want me to leave that and go on to the throat chakra, because that's why they're making me cough. Okay, also they said that even though I have physical disabilities, I still force myself to go out and walk the dogs. And that's why they keep bringing dogs into my life, because it keeps me moving forward. Because they said that I process energy through movement. And since I've had that problem with my spine, it has restricted a lot of my movement. So having a dog helps me to, I keep showing me this, but, they said that with me constantly moving, it keeps my energy flowing. That's what they're talking about. Okay, these words keep coming up. The chakra love and raise your crystal vibration. And I don't know if they want me to pull out a card. They said it's about time. Thank you. Okay. All right. So like they're saying, like the mental and emotional issues, like, you know, like, it doesn't matter what your disabilities are, or what your limitations. That's what they said. They feel like you have limitations, but you don't. You feel powerless. That's why they brought out the card. They said you feel powerless, but you are not. And this is, does that say crown? Yeah, crown chakra. Oh, and they're talking about meditation. Yeah. To see more clearly, close your eyes. Yeah. See, that's why they said a lot of channelers, they close their eyes when they have a channel, because their eyes can like bring messages in that they don't want. Because that's how you train. See, that's how you train, because you see all the symbols, you see the symbolism, you see the synchronicities, you see you feel the deja vus, you live the deja vus, you are the deja vus, I heard. And oh look, and it split, look, on throat chakra. Speak from your heart. It is the only thing worth listening to. Oh, spirit. And see, I didn't, and I wanted to actually get rid of the dog. I've been talking about that, actually, about getting rid of her. Not axing her, of course not. About rehoming her, or whatever, because she's been so difficult the past couple of years. But she has a lot of health problems too, and so that, that's a big factor that I would have to put on someone else. And I'm really torn about the whole situation. So they want me to finish that with the dog thing. Okay, so that was speaking my truth, but they want me to, and it's funny how they brought out the throat chakra right away, because they want me to talk about my throat chakra, and that's why they were bugging me to bring down that deck. Do you see all the synchronicities now? Do you see what they're talking about? Do you see this journey that is going on right in front of your eyes? So the throat, okay, I did the dog thing.